Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen. This is Mujeeb Kazi, and you're watching Washington Roundtable on VOKTV. I'm extremely humble and thankful that we have a very special guest that I have always been longing to and have been thinking about it. And finally, I was very fortunate enough to get hold on Dr. Saab, Dr. Javed Iqbal Saab, who is a mentor, a scholar, a professional doctor. I mean, so many on his, mashallah, on his plate. But my biggest honor is that I am having a privilege to talk to him. Dr. Saab, welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a real honor and privilege. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before we start our formal conversation, let me ask, probably you face this question over and over. Who is Dr. Javed Iqbal?
Well, Khalil Gibran once said that he has answer to all the questions except of the question when it was asked from him that who are you? So this is one of most difficult and unanswered question. However, I will try because when we introduce ourselves, usually we tell those things which are external to us. Like I'm a doctor, I have done my fellowship, and I belong to this family. I'm Pakistani, but actually, this is not the real answer of who you are. So, so if we just take it on the periphery of me, so I am a doctor by profession and I'm a Pakistani. But my greatest privilege is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me birth in a family who believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all those external things which are attached to me and all those references, I think the biggest reference for me from outside is that Alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim. And if we see inside, because I was very fortunate to meet a person who actually had that experience of going inside. Although I cannot claim that I have really felt my core, but I think in a core of in a heart, actually, there is nothing but that light, that part of Nuru Samawati wal Ard. And with the experience of those people who have experienced it, they said that if someone can go inside, a time may come when he will have his own irfan, which is actually irfan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I think that a hadith also supports it, कि man arafa nafsuhu arafa rabbuhu. So this is a kind of an incomplete answer to your question.
Dr. Saab, honestly, I was shivering from inside when you were, because we have a history of, mashallah, Islam has a very rich history that we have scholars of Islam who were professional, who were scientists, who were doctors at times, and they were the one who were nourishing the communities and the societies. And we are very humble that we are seeing somebody in our life who is doing that job. uh, Question, you can always, in the language of cricket, you can well left it because you're living in Pakistan, and sometimes answering some hard question becomes difficult. But let me ask you this: you are quoting a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are mentioning the translation of the Quran in your speeches, in your workshops, in your mentorship workshops, and at the same time you're giving solution to the life, and that's what the job of a mentor is. Do you see, or do you get any pushback from the scholars of Islam in Pakistan that, hey, this is my job, why are you tapping into my territory?
No, no, no. Up till now, there is nothing of that sort because I don't qualify to be called as a scholar. And moreover, I don't exceed from my limitation. And another thing is that I never tried to share any knowledge of mine. What I tried to share is my knowing.
Hmm.
And in fact, when I started this channel, the name of this channel was From Knowledge to Knowing, because somehow in a very early part of my career, I met a mentor and he said that if you address people and if you talk to the people as a teacher, don't tell a lie. I said, okay, I will not tell a lie. He said, no, you didn't understand. What I mean is that if you start telling people what Rumi said, or what Allama Iqbal has said, or anybody has said, for you it is only a memory. It is only a cognitive load which you are unburdening. But your truth will be whatever you have experienced yourself. And the example which he gave me while he was making me understand this was very shocking. He said, tell me whether Allah is Razak or not. My God, Alhamdulillah, Allah is Razik and Allah is Razik. He said, but don't tell it to the people unless and until you have not experienced it yourself. When there was no avenue and suddenly a risk came, unless and until you don't have that experience of your own self, don't tell people that Allah is Razik. Now, this is, a very extreme example. So, because in that humble capacity, I have always tried that I should not share something which I'm not acting upon, number one. And I should not be saying anything which is not my personal experience. If I am just sharing something which is my personal experience, which is not my personal experience, I always quote it, I always acknowledge it, and I always tell it, look, this is not my personal experience. I read it from there and I'm just presenting it to you, but I don't take the ownership and responsibility of it. However, if I felt something myself, I take a responsibility of it. So this is how, my this work of mine goes on. So I don't think I'm just encroaching anybody's domain, and I respect all ulama, and they are doing wonderful job. And now they have also realized that they have to use the social media and for their purpose. So some of people here, religious scholars, Numan Ali Khan is in city, Dallas. Then Sahil Adim Saab is here in Pakistan. He spent a lot of time in Canada, and then he's here. And there's another one, engineer Muhammad Ali, and there are many more. And Dr. Israr Ahmad Rahmahullah. All of these people, they have immense impact on people's mind, and I admire all of them.
Absolutely, mashallah, very powerful. Uh, Coming back to, you have mentioned something very powerful in terms of not to tell a lie. I mean, we all need to be honest to ourselves. I was in Pakistan, spent 2 months recently. So had, I mean, not Pakistan, not exclusive to Pakistan. It happens all around the world. झूठ जो है ना, I mean, they don't even consider lie as a sin. मैं आपको ये personal experience से बता रहा हूँ. Let's say coming late to a meeting for about 30-40 minutes, it's a norm to them and they don't even regret it. Coming to their job is not even a problem, not even an issue to them. And then once they come to the meetings, they don't even have to follow the basic ethics of the meetings, and they just take it as normal. Why this behavior that we see is so prevalent in our society?
Right. First of all, I must apologize you, because I am also guilty of doing it twice with you. But there was some reasons for it.
जी जी.
Anyway, and you know it. Yeah, you are 100% right. When I was principal of Quaid-e Medical College, a friend of mine came from United States, and he was my school class fellow, and school times, and he was working on a human resource department over there. So I was leader of that about 10,000 people, in that college, and I just asked from him that please guide me something, that how I can just improve the performance of my institution. He said, just give me 2-3 days and I'll just let me know. After 3 days, he said that the average time your consultant spends in a hospital, for which he gets a pay for 8 hours, the average time is 3 hours and 20 minutes. And the average time your other category of the people they come is this. So you are 100% right. Now, we know it already, so there's no need to go in detail of that. But why it is so? It is so because for the last 50 to 60 years in our society, responsible is my generation and a generation who was generation of my parents. Somehow they preferred their own benefits over the national benefits, and they had serious parenting problems, and they raised a generation. Now anyone who is retiring as a commissioner, anyone who is he is now head of a big institution, anyone who is kind of a, say, a big doctor who is retiring, all of them are from that generation where they underwent a very bad parenting. I don't know what was it, the social reason for it, but I have actually researched it and worked it out. The generation which created Pakistan, the generation immediately after that somehow became selfish, and they attach their own private benefits over the national benefits. And evidence of it is that all those people who were skilled, all those people who were from the upper class, as an individual, all of them has grown. If I look in my life and life of people of my age, the facilities which were there in my home 20 years back, now it is much better. The conveyance is much better. So as an individual, those smart people, they grew. Anyone who has a one shop has got now a plaza. Anyone who had actually a small bus, he has now a kind of a transport company, and so on and so forth. But that generation prepared their children for I, me, and mine. They did not prepare their children for we, our, and us. This is why when someone has a child in his house, he says, Inshallah, my son will take 7 stars in O levels and A levels. Then he will get admission in King Edward Medical College. Then he will do USMLE. Then he'll go to America. At my age, we will proudly say, Alhamdulillah, I have got 4 children. One of them lives in New York. The other one is in Dubai. The third one is in Brisbane. The fourth one has got a factory in Islamabad. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me a lot. So individually, everyone is blessed in this, category. Individual tower, they were very smart people. So in Pakistan, you will find immense wealth in hands of some of the people. But that did not, hello? But that did not trickle. Hello, do we have a disconnection? I can't see you. कहाँ से यहाँ बिठा दे, मैं अभी लाइव सेशन में हूँ. हेलो.
Yes, जी
Sorry.
Jackson, go. Yeah,
Sorry, there was a disconnection.
yeah, that's fine. Continue, please.
Yeah, okay. So what I was saying is that now if you see anything which has got a tag of private in Pakistan,
Mhm.
that is flourishing. If you go to a private bank, you will find a smart boy or gentleman, girl will just rush to you and say, Assalamu alaikum, sir, how can I help you? And she or he will have all the professional ethics. But if you go to a government bank, you will find lazy people sitting, counting the notes like this. If you go to a private school, you will see different. If you go to a government school, it will be. So is the hospital, so is the airline, so is the bus service, so is the train service. And so unfortunately, this can be traced back to that mindset in which the value system of our country became upside down. In my young age, I remember people who were very poor, who used to come on their bicycles, but they were respected in the society because they were very honest. But for last 30, 40 years, somehow in our society, a person who is respectable is one who has money. So everyone wants to be respectable. So when someone is respectable because of honesty, everyone will try to be honest. But uh, when someone is respectable because of money, so everyone wants to take a money. So there has been a race for money. This has changed the whole value system. This is why a staff nurse working in a private hospital will not dare to come 5 minutes late, but the same staff getting 3 times more pay in a government hospital will not care for the patients. So it goes back to this mentality.
So, in order for us to reset this mentality, and I think I have learned it from you that there are three individuals who can make the difference in the society: a teacher, parents, and imam of the masjid.
True.
And if those three individuals take the responsibility, when I guess when your generations or my generation, when we were being raised up, we would be mentored in the masjid. We will have a teacher who would groom our personality, and obviously the parenting. What role
True.
and what should these three individuals do at this time to reset the society that we are in today?
Honestly speaking, Mujib bhai, uh, those imams in masjid, those parents in home, uh, excuse me for a minute, आप थोड़ी तशरीफ रखिए, मैं जरा बिजी, मैं आपकी बात सुनता हूँ थोड़ी देर बैठे. those imams in the masjid, those parents raising their children at home, and the teacher which is there in the school, all three of them are actually cross section of the same society, which has got that trickle down effect.
Hmm.
And so in my humble opinion, there will be people which will be very capable of changing people at the age of 50 or age of 40. But I think my hope is now potential parents, and working on the potential parents and letting them know that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a boy or a girl, what is your responsibility? Now, the problem is so severe that unless and until we start working on potential parents, and then we will expect that after 20 years, inshallah, the circumstances will change. Right now, the situation, I am a doctor, I'm very optimistic. Till the last breath, I fight. And I tell to the family that don't worry, inshallah, we will work hard. Allah will do His fazl. But we have to be realistic, you know, at the same time. Realistically speaking, the fabric of the society ethically, morally has gone so down that actually we don't justify to own any piece of land. Unfortunately, we don't justify that we should be giving responsibility. So I may be wrong, but my this is why I have just focused my effort on young people which are potential parent, and I'm actually targeting the generation to be born. So this is why I go to the universities, I go to the colleges, and I meet young people, and I just tell them that these are the principles of raising the children. When your child is born, please don't just put in his head that you have to be a successful doctor or an engineer or whatever. I will be very happy he becomes even more than that. But you are giving, ashraful makhlukat in your lap for some higher purpose, something for greater than life, something which will create a legacy. So, in my opinion, the solution is that we should work on the teacher development. We should work on the edit. Obviously, all sectors of life they requires effort, but the real effort has to be on young people of Pakistan, which are actually 54% of people, and teaching them mentoring in the perspective of Allah's Banda Abdullah, or in the perspective of Ummati of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Dr. Saab, I know you're very busy, but I'm just going to ask you one
No
last
problem.
question.
Yeah,
Uh,
please carry on. No problem.
I as an individual, and I'm sure that I'm probably speaking on behalf of many other people, how do I find a purpose to my life? What is the purpose of my being on this face of earth?
I conduct the workshops on purpose of life, and this is a very common question which people ask from us. Please let us purpose of life, and my answer is very simple. This is your life. You devise your purpose, right? But what I can tell you is the three yardsticks with which you can match your purpose. And in my study or my knowing, if whatever is your purpose of life, in your opinion or my opinion, if it does not matches to these three yardsticks, then perhaps we have to change the purpose of life. Oh, okay.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just,
okay.
yeah.
So I mean, so I'm nobody to tell anybody his purpose of life, because every person is unique. But I can tell you, number one, whatever is your purpose of life, it should not be your need. This is the first yardstick. For example, your need is a helicopter. It's perfectly fine. Work hard to buy a helicopter. There is no problem in it. If your need is that every capital of the country, you should have a house there because it is your need, perfectly fine. There is no problem to be wealthy. There is no problem for having money. But whatever is your need, it cannot be your purpose. This is number one. So we have to, whatever phrase we have in our mind and whatever we plan, please check it and match it with this. It should not be your need, right? Number two, whatever is your purpose, it should not be time bound. After 10 years, I want to achieve this. For example, if I achieve this after 10 years, then I should die because my purpose has been achieved. And that is what is happening in the world nowadays. This is what is happening in the world nowadays, more in the Western world. Why a significant number of people in America or in England or European countries are on antidepressants. Why there are certain abnormal behaviors seen in uneducated people? Because their purpose of life is one which is achievable, and they achieve it at a certain period of time, and then they don't have anything to do. That creates a spiritual vacuum, and that vacuum can only be filled with drugs, that can be filled by alcohol, by abnormal sexual behaviors, or doing very funny things, right? So our purpose should not be time bound. It should continue even if when we just leave this world. I can give you a very simple example of it. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his purpose of life was not time bound. And then look at other people around us. I mean, Abdul Sattar Idi in Pakistan, his purpose was not time bound. And there are many other people which we can take an example from a very lower level to a very higher level, that they actually left, but whatever purpose they had, it still continues. It has a momentum that it continues. So this is the second yardstick. And the third yardstick is that whatever is the purpose of our life, and what is the yield of that purpose of life after that effort, is the beneficiary of that yield has to be people other than myself, my spouse, and my children. And more distant these people are, for example, beneficiary of my purpose of life is one who does not know me and I don't know him. you know Depending upon that distance, our purpose is more effective and our legacy is more effective. My purpose is such that someone living in Africa is being benefited, and I don't know him and he does not know me, but my work actually is benefiting him. So, in my opinion, these are the three things. Number one, our purpose should not be our need. Number two, our purpose should not be time bound. Number three, our purpose should, the beneficiary of our yield of our purpose has to be people which we don't know. Three, and the fourth perhaps thing is that whatever is the purpose of life should be noble. I want no, although it is the third. जी, मैं थोड़ी देर बाद कहूँगा. The third category actually addresses this nobility, but I want to just clarify that charity is not nobility. Unfortunately, we think that charity is nobility,
Hmm.
right? Nobility means raising someone's level of life to closer to my level of life. This is what nobility is. But if I earn 1 crore rupees and I just give them, say, 2 lakh, and just I just buy some clothes to the children, and I just go to an orphan house and just give them some donations on Eid day, and I think this is a noble cause. This is definitely a good work, but it is just charity. What a purpose demands is not charity. Purpose demands nobility. So let me summarize.
Mhm.
It should not be your need. It should not be time bound. It should, the beneficiaries of it should be those which you really don't know.
Mhm.
You don't know mean that you are not expecting any return from them. And fourth one is it should be noble. So that
Jazakallah.
is my take
Thank
on
you.
it.
Dr. Saab, thank you so much. I know you're busy. I'm humble and thank you so very much for being on the
But
show.
Mujib, we can talk again as well.
Inshallah, we will.
Uh,
Jazakallah.
and if, for example, my WhatsApp is not being addressed, please don't feel shy and just call me.
Inshallah, I will do
Yeah,
that.
please. Thank you.
Jazakallah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It
Thank
was
you
very
so much.
nice talking to you. Thank
Likewise.
you.
Assalamu alaikum
Thank
wa
you.
rahmatullahi
Thank
wa
you.
barakatuh.